Welcome to Resonance, podcast by Quetzal y Andrade, where we talk about bass, effects, and live things. And today, I do have my effects pedal board, or at least the main one that I use, right? The mini mono light board. Right now, everything is flat on the bass. There's no EQ adjustment on the Ampero 2. But I do have with me the JHS Color Box V2. And I definitely want to experiment with the settings that I have for you guys to check out. Give me your feedback, affirmation, condemnation, right? If you're not about it. But here it is with, again, dry. And here's the JHS engaged. Disengaged. Yeah, it sounds thinner right without it. So I do have a bass boost on the pedal. I have the mids rolled back a little, and then I have the highs pretty much flat. Pre-volume or gain, it's almost at 12 o'clock. I mean, it's about 11, and then the master volume at 12 o'clock. So nothing crazy drastic in terms of adjustments on the pedal, but as you can hear, now with it on, it does sound bigger. Maybe wider, but also a little more low end heavy. It's a thing, right? Where I'm not sure if I like it with the idea that there's no amp that I'm plugging into for this recording. So this is like, my amp, so to speak. And in future cases where I may want to not use an amp, maybe this will help present a fuller, bigger, wider, meatier picture, right, in a live situation. And again, without an amp on stage, I want to still feel like I'm projecting a large sound as the bass should. However, everything on my bass at the moment is flat. There's nothing boosted, nothing's raised. Everything's at 12 o'clock. And yes, I could raise the bass on my actual bass, right, on my bass's preamp, but those frequencies are definitely not the same as those that are available to be adjusted or tweaked on the color box. So I'm not saying it's better, it's just definitely different, and it's something that I actually feel it does do a little bit better in presenting a lower frequency, a wider sound than just the bass knob on my preamp here on the bass. Even though I'm used to using just the preamp on my bass to adjust on live situations or on the fly, depending on what I'm doing, I do want to try to shift some of that responsibility and focus EQ-wise to the color box. In particular for this gig tonight, which we're playing a large venue at the Warner's Theater, downtown Fresno, with VIBECHECK and Ralph Edwards. And so it's one of those things where it's a little bit experimental, but I'm going to take it just in case. Hey, worst case scenario, I disengage it, I don't use it. Nothing is lost, right? Nothing is going to be like canceled because I brought a new pedal on board. But again, I could always go DI out for my amp. I will have an amp on stage tonight. However, I do want to try to see if I can use this DI option out for future situations where there might be an amp on stage, but I may not like the EQ settings or whatever is available to me as far as the bass rig is concerned. And then I can just kind of rely on whatever presets I have set on the color box. And after that on stage, that could be a whole, whatever. That's a lesser importance to me. I'd rather be sending a more true sound or sound that I do like to the house than to my own ears on stage. As much as that is important too, as much as I would like for that to be equally a good time, right? Something enjoyable. So again, here's the dry sound. Here's JHS color box. And again, what the settings that I have, I'm not going to really toy too much with it, but I do want to show you that on my Ampero 2, I used an OC2 sound. Or OC2-ish, if you will, because it's not an actual OC2, but that's without the color box. And it already sounds meaty and big. With the color box on, definitely a heavy pillow thrown at you. Without, I like it because it cuts through more, right, with less bottom end. Without, or excuse me, with color box. But again, preference, right? And the nice thing is that you can, or I can, engage and just engage the color box as needed. Sure, it's one more foot switch to juggle or to, tap dance with, but at least the option is there should I feel that, hey, kicking in an OC2 sound is just way too big in this type of DI pedal board situation. Back to dry with color box. And here's my octave preset on the Ampero 2 with dry signal. Sounds a little cleaner without the color box, but in a mix, right? Probably gonna want a little more low end with some phaser. Yeah, so I mean, it works with the color box. Let's see, I have my EHX Pico Pog octave pedal where I have a dry signal and low octave end. Here it is dry without the color box. Still kind of big with the color box. Yeah, that's pretty insane. That much bigger. Maybe not as defined. Maybe I'll roll back the lows on the color box just a smidge tonight. That way I can get the best of both worlds, bigger sounds, still get the effects I need and want, and not be like, what the heck was that? Something overly thunderous can be a bad thing. Moving over to my first pedal in my mini board, right, mono light signal chain is my Zoom MS 60B. I want to say it's the first generation because it does not have some of the effects some of the other versions have. And I unfortunately just discovered the last couple days that one of the buttons to select or add another block or blocks to your signal on a preset has stopped functioning. So that is a bummer, but I got plenty of presets and sounds that I can tweak already as is and navigate through, again, the actual piece itself, the actual unit, quite easily enough. And again, my go-to sounds are usable, they're tweakable, and available. So again, that sucks, but it's also a sign of age. It's a sign of wear and tear and the fact that I've had it for so long. So I'm going to go ahead and sample my dry signal one more time. Here's the Ottawa, which I love. There's lots of envelope filters out there. I've tried a handful, and I actually really do like the Ampero 2 that I have set up in my my Ampero 2 unit. However, it sounds different. In fact, let me go ahead and A/B that just a little bit. Here's the Ottawa on the Zoom. Okay, and then here is the Ottawa envelope filter on the Ampero 2. Different. I like both. One's a little more subtle than the other. And to be honest, I like this one with reverb. Right, so there's that, dry. Ooh, with the color box. Yeah, a little meatier. Let's go ahead and disengage the color box. Go back to the... Yes, you can hear how happy I am. Let's come back to the Ottawa preset on the Zoom, just because I don't really use this one with reverb. You can. Yeah, I usually don't. So anyway, I like it. It's cool. Let's try that one, right? The Zoom Ottawa with the JHS color box. Sounds nice. Without. A little more mid apparent with the color box. Again, not so mid heavy because, like I mentioned before, I did roll back the mids on the JHS color box. Not a bad thing. All right, going back to the Zoom, here's another preset that I'll be using tonight as well. Like, all these presets are going to be used at some point. And so here's the Moogish kind of synth preset that I've made on the Zoom. So that's going to be used for Versace on the Floor by Bruno Mars. It's a default Moog synth preset that I have, and I use it for anything remotely close sounding to that. Surprisingly enough, I do not use it for 24 Karat Magic when we do play it. I use something else, and I'll perhaps get to that later in the podcast. But this one, I feel like it's a happy medium where I'm not having to tap dance like crazy to get to a whole new preset for a specific synth sound. It's on my Ampero 2. Excuse me, it's on my Zoom MS60B, and I don't have to like do too much to the Ampero further in the chain to change up my whole way of accessing presets here. Because I obviously don't use MIDI. I don't use foot switch add-on system that has like 3 or even 2 buttons, right? I have a single extra button that I do to tap into the presets into stomp mode. But again, with the Zoom, easy to access enough. That is without the JHS, I always want to say X, JHS color box. So this is dry. If I go back to my dry signal, kind of thin with JHS color box, a little bit bigger. I can go to my Moog synth, whatever you want to call it. That's what I have it titled. Sorry. It's maybe a little overwhelming, right? Yeah, so you can tell when I engage the color box and when I disengage it. And I don't know, we'll see tonight or this afternoon at soundcheck to see how that translates well or awful in the actual mix with the band and with the sound system, right? The sound engineer. We'll see how that all pans out. I do have a drive a drive preset here on my Zoom that maybe I'll sample, but I'm not actually going to use that tonight. I don't know if you can actually hear it. Yeah, it's there a little bit. Maybe it's actually engaged. Let me see. Let me double check. Yep, it is. It's just not as hot in this mix for whatever reason. Maybe because the highs are kind of turned down in the little mixer to not be overly bright. Hopefully that sounds a little overdriven in the mix. Obviously that's with the octave pedal too. Preset on the Ampero. Dry. Neck pickup. Yeah, it doesn't sound as gritty here, and I'm kind of disappointed in that sense. But let's kick on the color box, and might as well not even have any driver saturation on this preset. Yeah, kicking that off. I do have another drive setting in my Ampero 2 that I go to in live situations. And here it is. That's with the color box. Dry. Sounds a little thinner, a little cleaner. The drive. If I want a little bit more grit. Yeah, it's not very apparent through here, and I'm so sorry. Let me turn up the highs on the mixer. Maybe that'll do it. Yeah, you can hear it more without the extra grit. And again, spoiler, getting the mic to pick up the actual slapping of the strings and everything acoustically here in the room, sorry for the not great presentation, but you get the idea. These are some presets that I use, including the, as mentioned before, 24 karat type of Moogish synth, whatever deal. This is what I use. And this comes out of the Ampero 2. And again, compared to like the without the color box, but not with. A little much, right? With the color box. So prefer it without, with this Zoom synth preset. But if I go back to the Ampero 2 synth, this is what I use live, right? How accurate or how close it is to the actual bass synth sound in Bruno Mars's actual track. To me, it's not an issue. I feel like it's more about the impression or the response, received live upon hearing the preset with the band than the actual, again, sonic accuracy that's we're trying to replicate. But again, am I really? Not really. I have some presets that I want to be able to use across several tunes and not exclusively for just one particular song. That's just who I am. That's my nature. Um, and it's worked for me so far, right? I've gotten good feedback from others at shows, as a result. So hopefully, if you have some words to exchange or feedback to give, you're not too harsh, right? But definitely be honest, be transparent on some of the stuff or questions you might have as to why this or why that, or have you tried this? Maybe I'll seek alternatives. But again, for a short board, for having limited space, this is it. Somebody may say, well, why do you have a tuner um, and a foot switch when you could just, go into stomp mode off the Ampero? That extra space I'd rather keep for that, because I actually did a gig outdoors once, not once, but several times. But in this particular gig where I had, it was extreme heat, right? And the temperature was dropping drastically. It was like I was having to tune between every song, or try to, right? Because we were just cycling through the set list fast, right? There was little dead time. There was, no real comfortable, stretched out time to go ahead and tune comfortably, slowly, carefully. It was like, boom, let's hit the next track. And so after that, I was like, man, I want to have the option of having an always on tuner on my board. And so having this Swift Audio mini tuner has been amazing, because if I want to leave it on, I can. If I want to turn it off, I can. And either way, it doesn't mess with my signal. And granted, I'm not even sure you can put it in and then, or plug it in and then still have it in a unmuted fashion. Not sure. But either way, I have stereo out of my, I still have a stereo out of my Zoom MS60B. So I just use the right signal for the tuner alone, and then the left signal out towards my Pico Pog, then Ampero, and out. So it's a non-issue whether it's going to affect my signal, whether I have to have it on or off, whether there's a mute component that will jeopardize a live tuning situation in real time, real performance time. So again, after that experience of having to tune after every song, or needing to and not being able to effectively, I was like, yeah, I want to have something that can always be available should I need it, should I want it. And it looks cool there. It is an aesthetic thing for me, but functionality first, for sure. What else? I don't know that I have any sort of other effects here that I'll be using live. Yeah, so it's going to be a good time. It is a Valentine's Day gig tonight. It is going to feature two of the other Snoop Dogg members from season 28, and including Ralph Edwards, right, that made it as the runner-up at the end of the show. So super excited to have him featured, the band VIBECHECK, to have Sadie and Kenny join us on stage as well at different points in the show. We have the Morenos also opening up, as well as Mia May, and it's going to be a great time. Dinner, show, lots of music, obviously Valentine's Day theme. It's going to be great. Hopefully a lot of people get to go and experience that, especially those that are local, those that have been avid listeners and followers of the band VIBECHECK, especially after the whole making the voice, Ralph Edwards being featured and all that tonight. It's going to be great to see him in a new light, right? Experience music and the band on a new level. So tonight it's going to be fun. We have sound check at 2. We go on about 9:45. Obviously we have opening acts, but actual VIBECHECK band will be on about 9:45, and it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a long day. I'm tired already. You can hear that I'm still getting over this cold, and so thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for bearing with me with some of this color box and effects situation that I'm still tampering with, even today, right? Trying to see what could be easily tweaked, or if needed, again, just totally bypass the color box at tonight's show. So we'll see. As always, thank you for following the original music. I do have a new album coming up March 1st called Marquee, And again, another 9 tracks, all original music, mostly just bass. Actually, all just bass, minus some drum tracks on 4 or 5 of them. And again, just creations of the month, thoughts and creations of the month. Um, Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for exploring the music, sharing it, and hopefully, at the end of the day, being inspired to create your own music. So until next time, have a good one.